From Storm Tracker 6, this is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
It was another very sunny and seasonable day for us here in mid-Michigan. Notice still widespread sunshine over in Grand Ledge. That happens to be the case across all of mid-Michigan this evening. You'll notice on satellite and radar, however, as you head further west, you are going to come in contact with just a little bit more in the way of cloud cover. Temperature-wise, 56 degrees in Lansing and Mason. We're at 54 for our current reading in Hillsdale and Adrian, 57 right now in St. John's and over in Owasso. We are going to be staying dry and mostly clear overnight tonight. Overnight lows cooling down into the mid-30s. Then we'll talk about the forecast for Halloween coming up in just a little bit. 6 News at 5:30 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at 5:30.
Right now at 5:30, a wild ride near Novi had police chasing a stolen ambulance with a paramedic and patient still in the back. Plus, an officer in Detroit accused of breaking department policies when they fired multiple times into a woman's SUV. And several big companies announced layoffs, including UPS, Target, and Amazon. Those stories and a lot more, and all in the first 6 minutes. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Siobhan Klepfer. Let's start that clock. And we begin tonight with a 33-year-old man accused of stealing an ambulance with a paramedic and
collision at Edenbeck.
In southeast Michigan. Tonight he is facing multiple felony charges. Now this all happened last Friday afternoon. Police say the suspect, Chang Lin Lee, was involved in a traffic crash, and when an ambulance arrived, he jumped into the driver's seat and drove away with a paramedic and patient in the back. Officials say Lee drove several miles through a construction site, at times traveling more than 70 miles per hour. Eventually the ambulance crashed into another vehicle, and that's when police say Lee tried to escape again and even tried to take a police officer's gun.
Normally, we would not allow a pursuit to continue like this. We had no idea what the intention of the suspect was. The decision was to allow the pursuit to continue.
Lee and the paramedic and patient in the ambulance were all taken to a local hospital. They're all expected to survive their injuries. Tonight, Lee is charged with a number of crimes, including carjacking, fleeing and eluding police, and trying to disarm a police officer. He's due back in court next week. In this update to another police chase, the chief of police in Detroit says one of his officers violated department policy multiple times during a traffic stop that led to a woman being shot over the weekend. And tonight that officer is facing suspension without pay. Police pulled a woman over on Sunday for a traffic violation. After a struggle to remove her from the SUV after some issues, she drove away with police following close behind. When she refused to get out of her SUV again, police say an officer fired several rounds into her vehicle, hitting her 6 times. She is recovering, and the chief says she will not face charges. A man in Olivet, meantime, faces 5 years in prison accused of falsely claiming to be a licensed or certified accountant. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel says Joseph Vaneder had been working at an accounting firm in Eaton County. He was arraigned in court last week and, if found guilty, could spend up to 5 years behind bars. He's due back in court early next month. Staying with Michigan court news, a 20-year-old man is headed to prison in Ottawa County for the shooting death of a 19-year-old Grand Valley State University student. It happened at a house party back in May. Weston Muhlenberg was in an upstairs bedroom and fired a gun multiple times into the floor, hitting Connor Lauderman in the head, killing him. Connor was on the level below. Muhlenberg pleaded guilty, and a judge sentenced him to between 5 years and 10 months and 25 years in prison. A soccer referee in Gaylord is in hot water tonight, charged with assault and battery, and it stems from an incident at a boys' soccer game recently where video appears to show a ref pushing a player to the ground on the sidelines. The charges were brought by the family of a 16-year-old student team manager who was also involved in the incident. If found guilty, the ref faces a fine of up to $500 and a maximum of 93 days in jail. Widening things out, the Texas Attorney General is suing the makers of Tylenol, saying the company deceptively markets Tylenol to pregnant women. Now, this all comes after U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced that the FDA believes the use of acetaminophen during pregnancy increases the risk of a child having autism. Medical experts, however, disagree and say acetaminophen remains the safest option for treating issues like pain and high fever during pregnancy. Air traffic controller union members gathered at major airports today to hand out information to passengers detailing how the government shutdown is negatively impacting the national aviation system and the workers who keep it running safely. Now, this coincides with controllers' first full missing paycheck since the shutdown began. Officials say workers are living paycheck to paycheck and don't know when they'll get paid again. Well, meantime, as the government shutdown nears week 4, some companies are adding to the financial concern with the announcement of layoffs. We have learned Amazon is cutting 14,000 corporate jobs as it works to cut costs and make the company more efficient and focused. Amazon has more than 350,000 corporate employees, so the move impacts about 4% of its staff.
This is coming at the corporate level, and so this isn't Amazon isn't doing well or consumers aren't spending. This is them saying we've got a lot of areas in the corporate level that we think we can be more efficient on, and we're going to take some of those resources away, and then we're going to add some resources in an area that we think is going to be growth worthy, which is AI.
The company says it will offer most impacted employees 90 days to look for a new role internally. And companies like Target and UPS are also cutting jobs. Target announced last week it's laying off about 1,000 team members and closing out 800 open roles. Today, UPS said it's cutting 48,000 jobs in management and operations. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered the army to carry out powerful strikes in the Palestinian territory. This amid a fragile and tense ceasefire. The order follows heightened tensions as Israel reported Hamas firing on its forces in southern Gaza, and after Hamas returned the body of a hostage that Israel said belonged to a hostage recovered earlier in the war. And we round out the first 6 minutes of news back here at home with an update from the locally famous Big Penny Bridge. Apparently, Penny was thirsty, and unfortunately for this Bud Light truck, decided to take a sample, crunching the truck and leaving it looking like a crushed beer can. It happened earlier this afternoon, and for those of you who are keeping track, that's 24 trucks this year, Kendall, and 103 since 2004 for the Pennsylvania Avenue Bridge.
So Big Penny has quite the appetite, it looks like.
Yes, Big Penny does. Oh man, the truck has since been removed and it's now open and clear, by the way.
Yeah. I would love to be in the mind of that driver as it's going through.
Like, oh no, I didn't see, I was distracted by the eyeballs and the teeth maybe.
And the countdown.
Or
the count up, I should say.
Yeah, that's going to be changed too to reflect the newest truck.
Well, we're reflecting some new conditions in the forecast for Halloween. Siobhan, I think you're going to be very pleased with the forecast for trick-or-treaters.